End bad governance. Is there truly bad governance in Nigeria based on the theme of the ongoing hashtag End Bad Governance protest? In this video, I'll be analyzing governance and politics in Nigeria. So at the end of this video, we should be able to come to a conclusion of whether there is bad governance in Nigeria. My name is Dr. Omoshola Deji, your favorite political scientist and public affairs analyst. Now, this video is going to be in three major episodes, because I'm going to be splitting it and listing my point and analysis in 3 episodes. So if you are opportune to watch this episode, I'm sure you want to watch others, and that's why you need to subscribe to my channel, follow my page on YouTube and on Facebook, Polythink with Omoshola Deji. Now let's dive into it straight. Is there bad governance in Nigeria? Nigerian citizens are clamoring that, the way government is ruling the country is unsatisfactory, and they say this is a bad government. Now I'm going to be picking up my point for us to argue that there's bad governance in Nigeria or not, focusing mainly on the Tinubu presidency. Now let's look at it. Is there bad governance in Nigeria? When the president was sworn in on May 29, 2023, one of his major points is that fuel subsidy gone. Fuel subsidy gone. Again, fuel subsidy gone. Now, is removal of fuel subsidy bad governance? We need to ask ourselves. Well, yes and no. Removal of fuel subsidy, it's not bad if it's going to make government to have more earnings to provide amenities for the people. Fuel subsidy is not bad if it's going to stop neighboring countries like Cameroon, like Benin Republic, from exploiting Nigeria, because petroleum product is expensive in their country and they are coming into the Nigerian space to buy it cheap and sell at cheap rate. Imagine somebody coming into Nigeria and buying about 150 gallons of petroleum product. So that means Nigeria is more like an extension of their country. So if fuel subsidy is removed under such circumstance, can we call that bad governance? Now, if fuel subsidy is removed to restrict the cabals that would lie, if they import petroleum product, if they import 5 pieces, they're just going to lie that they import 20 or 25. So if fuel subsidy is now removed, can we call that bad governance? Of course, no. Now, on the flip side, we can call fuel subsidy bad governance. The reason is why. Number one, removal of fuel subsidy is bad governance if it doesn't address what it needs to address. Now, what do I mean by that? Fuel subsidy removal. If you remove fuel subsidy and the price of goods and services skyrocket, and you have over 1 year, whereby I call this period the honeymoon period. The honeymoon period whereby Nigerians are still looking at your government that, okay, let's give this government a chance. Let's see what this government is going to come up with. So you have over 1 year for you to have come up with different plans and palliative. Though I don't like the word palliative anyway. I feel it's demeaning. Yeah, I mean, it's a word that is demeaning to Nigerians. But to go with popular parlance, if you have over a year and you didn't create enough palliative for the people to cushion the effect of the removal of fuel subsidy, that is bad governance. Because if petrol is less than 200 naira and you move it to over 600 naira, NNPC sells at 568, but how many NNPC filling stations do we have in the country? Now, if you move petroleum product by over 300% and you left your people to be suffering under the umbrella of removal of fuel subsidy, that is bad governance. Now, if you say you want to end the cabal from profiting from Nigeria, that they are not transparent in their dealings, now, if you don't prosecute those cabals, that is bad governance, because you've literally left these cabals that comprises of former ministers, former governors, the high and mighty in the society. If you have failed to prosecute them, rather you decide to pass the burden to the ordinary Nigerians, that is bad governance. Now, if buying petroleum at a cheap rate is what my government can only do for me, because I can literally say, and I'm sure you too can say it, that since when I've been born and I know myself as a Nigerian citizen, Nigerian government hasn't done anything for me. I can say it wholeheartedly. Nigerian government hasn't done anything for me. Even the COVID vaccine, I didn't receive it in Nigeria. I was abroad at the time. So I can say that if I was around, maybe the government would have given me the COVID vaccine for free. Then I can say I would have gained something from Nigeria. So if buying petrol at a cheap rate is a way of me benefiting from the Nigerian government, and you now remove it in such a way that I'm no longer benefiting anything, that is bad governance. That is bad governance. So I expect that by now, rather than pushing the burden to Nigerians, the cabal should be in jail. It's as easy as that. The cabal should be in jail. So if you decide to remove fuel subsidy and people are now suffering, that is bad governance. So fuel subsidy is good and bad governance depending on the way you look at it. Another thing is, government is used to sharing money, right? Whereby they will say the vulnerable. Well, I think in the true sense of it, who is not vulnerable in Nigeria? Everybody is quite vulnerable. So if you decide to give some percentage of the citizen because you say they are poor and you didn't give others, that is bad governance. So it's like one citizen is greater than the other. Instead of you to be sharing money in a kind of fraudulent way that has no statistics as being seen under the Buhari regime, why not just use that money to create an amenity that everybody, every Nigerian will benefit from? Does that not make sense for you to use the fund to create something that all Nigerians will benefit from? So if you are creating some form of palliative for some people and you are not giving other people, well, for me, that is bad governance. Now, if we have an insensitive National Assembly, if we have a National Assembly that is not forthcoming in the midst of the suffering of Nigerians, if you have a National Assembly that is busy using 130 million, 140 million to buy SUVs when Nigerians are not able to feed, that is bad governance, because people in the National Assembly, at least these are big guys in the true sense of it. We have former governors, former ministers, captains of industry. I believe that SUV is not their problem, because before coming to the National Assembly, there's no one of them that can boast of multiple SUVs. So if Nigeria doesn't have enough resources and you cannot use your SUV to create a saving for the country in order to bring succum to the masses, for me, that is bad governance. Then who says that constituency project can only be done using SUVs? Who says so? That constituency project can only be done using SUV or oversight duties? It can be done using only SUVs. So why must you buy an SUV at this point in time? That is bad governance. If the president is willing to buy private jet, to buy another jet, despite having his own private jet, if he's willing to add another extra jet to the presidential fleets of jet, that is bad governance. But I won't blame the president for that, because the man is old. Imagine you going to whisper to the president, say, President, buy jet. If you don't buy it, you go die. Yo. What do you expect an old man to do? He's definitely going to approve it and say, go and buy the jet. And we have a willing National Assembly that will approve it. That is bad governance. So if we have a National Assembly that will approve the tenure of the elongation of tenure for the police IG, that would speedily change the Nigerian national anthem to the old one, but can't speedily debate on bills that will impact of the life of Nigeria, that is bad governance. Now, if there is nationwide protest coming and National Assembly decide to go on recess rather than stay in the country when the people should be looking up to them, where they should be kind of like providing succum for the people and be ready to pass, any bill presented by the president to calm, furious snaps in the country, that is bad governance. So if we have the National Assembly that it is presently constituted, whereby they are willing to pass anything, whereby debate is not rigorous, one thing you can applaud the Saraki-led Senate for is, despite the fact that The Buhari government may have their way, but there's this time for rigorous debate. You see that Saraki, because he's not in the Buhari camp, he usually give voice to the opposition, where he literally belongs at that time, to kind of like air their views. So the National Assembly was interesting to watch because there was rigorous debate. But the Akpabio-led Senate, it's not as interesting as the Saraki-led Senate. Even the Akpabio-led Senate is even more, should I say, is even worse than the Ahmed Lawan-led Senate. That is bad governance. Insensitivity of the National Assembly being aided by the presidency is bad governance, because when these funds are to be approved for the SUVs, it is the president that would assent to the fund. The National Assembly cannot spend funds without the approval of the president. So that is bad governance. Then in communication on the part of the president, that's bad governance, because we've seen a lot of presidential arrogance. Now the president is trying to address the nation when he could have done that before the beginning of the End Bad Governance protest. Maybe this would have helped. Maybe this would have calmed the people down. But we have a presidency that just go ahead. They feel they can just go ahead and do things the way they like. To me, if you are not communicating to the citizen you are governing on, that is bad governance. On this note, I come to the end of the first episode of Is There Bad Governance in Nigeria That Truly Needs to End, based on the theme of the ongoing protests and bad governance in Nigeria. If you are yet to subscribe, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, subscribe to my Facebook, share this on all platforms. I want to read your comment, ask me questions. I remain my humble self, Dr. Omoshola Deji, political scientist, public affairs analyst. Till I see you again, keep winning.